price point is the number one reason why people would not consider EV. Second, no personal experience, right? So I love that you came in a car and Volkswagen is promoting people, just give it a try and rent it for a day or two or a week or two, right? And that's the way.
Hello back to the VWID podcast. I'm here with a special guest, Jan Stanek, also known as Electro Dad, here in Europe, Czech Republic, Czechia, and he has an amazing outcome. He started talking about electromobility because he wants to convert million people, their mindset to go electric and to think about sustainability. So Jan, we are so glad to have you.
Thank you.
And what led you to this passion for electromobility and convincing people, helping people?
Yeah, I started in shooting videos about electromobility, and I have published 800 of those in Czech language for the local market in 2019, because we got our first EV, which was Nissan Leaf, in 2018. And what led me to that was that I worked for a tech company, Czech company, which had 90 employees in China. So I was for 2.5 years in China, in a city called Nanjing, which used to be the capital city of China for 6 dynasties in the first half of 20th century. 13 million people. We were there 2009 to 2012, and a lot of pollution. And so, and when we went there with the whole family, at the time we had 2 small girls, 2 years, 4 years, and for 2.5 years it makes you think that this is Armageddon. This is not right. Either something bad will happen or we change that. And then you come back to Europe and suddenly you see blue skies and clear water and the quality of life, all that. But then you realize, wait a minute, the Czech Republic does a lot of industry as well. And when we came, the emissions, the CO2 equivalent emissions per capita in Czech Republic was double to an average Chinese.
Wow.
And all the stuff we are buying, right, or not all the stuff, but a lot of stuff we are buying is made in China, right? So whose pollution is that? Is it Chinese pollution or our pollution? Because we actually consume, we just outsource the manufacturing as well the pollution, right? So yes, that was a long story how I got to this topic. So we got an EV and photovoltaics on our roof, and suddenly, so in this part of the world, around 8 to 9 months a year, we have winters, right, and then the skies are not quite, it's shorter days and dark skies during the winter, but 8 to 9 months per year we can power our EVs with homemade electricity, which is fabulous.
Exactly. So your electrons in the car are yellow, as we joke about our homemade. That is awesome. And so when you think about people kind of embracing this concept of electromobility, yes, of course, it is to solve the pollution problem, is to solve the emission problem, but it's also on the other hand, as by design, the ride for us who've been riding electric cars is better. It's much smoother. Those cars are quieter. There are no vibrations. So there are, of course, pros for the environment and for you as an owner and a driver.
Absolutely.
Now, what is the typical pushback that you're seeing, that you're feeling from people who are not sure about electromobility, and how do you explain, how do you show them the EV way?
I think there's 2 main obstacles. One is the price of electric vehicles in this part of the world. The mid-size and larger cars, there's basically price parity, right? The EVs are for the same price. But we in Europe, we tend to have smaller cars, right, hatchbacks, and in that segment, like Volkswagen Golf size, right, and in that segment, you don't have enough competition, and therefore you are not at price parity yet. So the price point is the number one reason why people would not consider EV. Second, no personal experience, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you came in a car which actually, Volkswagen is promoting people just give it a try, right? For a very reasonable price, or even for free or whatever, I don't know, a very reasonable price probably. You can rent it for a day or two, or a week or two, right? And that's the way. That's the way. So the more people try it, the more people realize, like, it was great. All the combustion engine cars were great. There was this innovation of 20th century. It brought all the freedom and all the the modern society as we know. But it's over. It's over. It's like once you experience. So I just came in this Audi A6 e-tron, right? The newest one, which is high tech, right? 800 volt architecture.
Premium platform electric.
Exactly. I did first 70 miles. That's incredible. It has such a low consumption, so I couldn't believe it. And we have the high speed. We go how much when it goes?
It's like 75 miles per hour. 130 on the highway.
Yeah. So I got I did, I don't know, 88, let's say, miles per hour, and it was just like incredible how low the consumption is. And the car, there's a beautiful audio in it. I turned on my favorite music, and I turned off. It's like I'm just in this Zen Buddhism, mode, exactly, and I'm just moving my body through the time and space with absolute, like, the only thing I could hear was the music. Right? There's no vibrations, like once you experience this, there's no way back.
There's no way back. I totally hear you. I gave a ride to my friend. He has a TDI. Everybody has a diesel in Europe, right? So he's driving a very nice A4 Touring, and I drove him with this. He's like, "Oh, that's so quiet. That is beautiful. Wow, I didn't realize that." And then, of course, we did 0 to 90 kilometers per hour. He's like, "Well, that's incredible." So I totally agree. That
also the elasticity of the motor, right? The electric motor, right? It's just incomparable.
Yes.
I 2 weeks ago, first time in my life, because for the past 7 years, it's over, like, I have like 250,000 miles in electric vehicles for the past 7 years. Yes. So I've never driven a diesel SUV in my life, and I did it first time 2 weeks ago, and I was like, it felt dangerous, because you have the center of gravity is so high. So when you go to a curve, right, it's like, oh, what is this? I felt like insecure. It was so loud, and whenever I wanted to take over a car, even though it was like 2.4 liter or whatever, it was like, on paper it's powerful. In reality, with the automatic gear shift, like, I just pressed the pedal and somehow didn't know what to do. That thing, and it didn't.
It has to figure out. Oh, I need to downshift. Okay, let me count 1, 2.
But with this car, right, it happens. It just happens. You don't need to think about it. It's just the user experience is simply incomparable.
It is. I totally agree with you. So, give it a try from your local dealer. Check what are the options to rent an EV, and take it home. Just don't drive around the block, because it doesn't give you the experience. You need to try it in your daily life, including charging it in the garage, for example. And so that was the one big thing that people say about electric cars. And another one I'm hearing quite popular, quite high on the list is, there's not enough public charging spots. I cannot. When we drive once a year to Croatia, or we recently drove with my wife from Seattle to 1,000 miles down south to California in an EV, and it was an absolute effortless. And that was in the US, and I believe a similar situation is
here. It's super simple. We have 800,000 public chargers across Europe. We have the network which is standing behind one, right? We have the network of these ultra-fast 350 kilowatt chargers, which tens of thousands of those in Europe. It's basically now every 30 miles on highways, every 30 miles you can stop and ultra-fast charge. So I own Porsche Taycan, the facelifted one. We have it for 10 months now. In 18 minutes you're done, right?
And like 350.
And you go for 300 miles with this 18 miles per hour, and then you charge for 18 minutes, and then you continue, right? So it's just absolutely like seamless. So to go from whatever Prague to Amsterdam, to Paris, or to Spain, or to south of Italy, it's just and I so I show the videos, right? How pretty much seamless it is, and you can go in July, on July Saturday, when all these, millions of Europeans are flowing through Europe, going to the seaside and going back, etc., and still the chargers are free, are available and functioning, because the infrastructure is pretty modern in Europe, and the prices are, energy is way more expensive in Europe than it would be in US, so that's comparable, but it's just to so it's 40 cents US dollar cents per kilowatt hour when I use my Porsche card charging card.
Okay.
Right. So
it's technically a little bit cheaper, because when I was charging on the Electrify America in the US, that's the network that VW has built because of Dieselgate.
Yes.
And you can prepay a plan that they give you 25% discount, and that was roughly 45-50 cents depending on the charging station.
But I have to say that the Porsche card is one of the cheapest you can have.
Yeah, one of the best ones from return on investment perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they have pre-negotiated pricing, and it's potentially.
That's so just like they basically are a shareholder of Electrify America, I would think, Porsche, right? Yeah. So they are also shareholder of Ionity Network in Europe, right? Yeah. So they have a good deal.
Yeah.
And then it's like in Europe you have these emission, regulatory framework, which is basically pushing the manufacturers every year to the fleet of the new cars, which they sell, that the emissions are lower and lower, so they are incentivized to actually sell the EVs,
the newest cars,
and therefore they offer a good deal together with it. By the way, I got equivalent of $6,000 of worth of charging with the car on a prepaid card.
Okay. That's great. We used to have, with my ID4, I got 3 years unlimited charging on Electrify America. But of course, I didn't use it that much. But it actually led to the fact that people didn't charge at home as much. They were charging at the EA because it was free, and those EA chargers were relatively full. And that time, 3 years ago, they had a lot of reliability issues. They had to change the physical infrastructure. There was like a lot of money that they spent upgrading this and fixing it.
So we have Tesla Model 3 for 5.5 years. So that was a US-made model. And I also have, because I have free miles because of referral programs. Referral program, it's like I just charge at home.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't overuse it just because I can, even though it's free of charge, because it also takes some time, and also it's not, it's actually, I think that the latest data or science says that combine the ultra fast charging with slow charging, just do the mix. That's the best what you can do for the battery. Don't charge 80% every day, whatever. Let it stay at 60%, let it stay at 40%, let it stay at 30%. It doesn't matter. And the more variety you do for the battery, the better.
The better. Yeah. I totally agree. And I think that's a great segue to if I'm thinking about electric car and I cannot charge at home or I cannot charge at work, do you think that the EV would be good for me, or maybe not at this moment? I know it's a hard question, but how would you think about it?
So in this country we have, first, 50,000 people driving electric vehicles. I would think that just empiric number would be close to a third of them do not have possibility to charge at home or at work, and they still own an EV, right? You tend to have your during the week, during the day, during the month, you are taking certain routes, and you start realizing, wait a minute, now we are charging by a shopping mall, right? Yeah. And there's a super fast charger here, right? So you stop here for whatever 30 minutes per week, and the battery can be full, right? So then you have a school, then you have a municipality, maybe a shopping mall, sports center, cinema, whatever. There are places where the fast charges are, and here where we're standing, right? We have 360 kilowatt charger, 150 charger, and 50 kilowatt charger, right? So if you do for a long shopping and you will be with the family here for 2 hours, you just put it on the 50 one, right?
That's smart.
And your mobile phone app tells you, right? Oh, it's fully charged.
Just move it to the parking spot.
But one thing is that if you do a very low annual mileage, I would, and you don't have charger at home or at work, I would tell you wait. Wait. Maybe in a year or two, your company will actually provide the charging, or will you give the possibility? Right, there's 2 electric cars coming, and they both are going to charge at 50 kilowatt, not at the faster ones, right? So they probably go there for a reason. It's a little bit cheaper, but it probably has a reason that they have the reason that it will probably stay longer.
Therefore, they don't have lunch or something, or some food.
So it is possible, and I know people who would do 40,000 miles a year, and they don't have ability to charge at home, and they still do that, right? You just at the same time, with such a mileage, you do have to change your lifestyle a little bit. That especially if you work, on your notebook, etc., you simply spend some time on a charger, and you don't need to wait, and it's like how long does it take, right? But you can just
you will just blend it into your life like a very seamless. Totally agree. Thank you, Jan. This was a great discussion. We have one question for every guest. What drives you? What drives your passion every day?
That's a nice question. So I had this major life anniversary. I was 50, and I feel super happy, healthy, loving, and I do super meaningful work. So it's a combination of all, definitely, a car would be, somewhere like a number 12 on a point of things which makes me, fulfilled or happy in my life. So what drives me? I think we, that we spend some time in our life to make sure that we have all the, things we would like to have, like a family and, house and car, etc. But then, once you turn 40 plus, you start to think, it's like, okay, what can I do which is bigger than myself, right? How can I do meaningful things which I took care of myself and the family, so what else can I do, right? And then, so for me, it was that I started to shoot those videos, and I'm glad. So there were, my content is more, I'm not an entertainer, right? It's more about going deep in the subject, and it was pretty much for the early adopters, like those who think about the world and want to know details, but I would think that for most of us, the car tends to be the second pricier thing we actually buy, right? There's the house and then the car, right? And so my videos are 40 minutes easily, right? And so but I thought, if you're serious about getting the car, you don't mind to watch a 40-minute video, right? Because you're serious about, and this is like a new tech, you don't have experience with it, so a guy who has done hundreds of thousands of miles in EVs telling you something, then maybe, okay, that's interesting. So that drives me, right? Yeah. But in my videos, I will be more and more talking about innovations which will actually help humankind to cope with the challenges which are coming. Artificial intelligence, robotization, geopolitics. We have the wars, climate change, etc. So I would be positive that as a humankind we will make these,
turns.
We will take those turns, but it may not be that easy in your
change is rarely easy. Thank you. Jan, this was a great discussion. Thank you so much for joining us. So please like and subscribe, and share your thoughts and feedback down below. Thank you. Bye.